All right, for today's video, I wanted to talk about another WWE wrestler that has unfortunately been terminated by the company, as well as another wrestling show, another weekly show that has now come to cable television. It's like there's already so many wrestling shows to keep on top of as it is, and now here's another wrestling show coming to television every week, and wanted to talk about where the future NXT premium live events will be airing. You know, it's not going to be airing where it was in the past. There's a new contract coming up, and they're going to be airing somewhere else. We'll talk about that. And also a new contract that has been announced between WWE, the CW Network, and ESPN Unlimited. And also wanted to talk about, it seems like Lucha Underground Wrestling that aired from 2014 through 2018. That was an excellent show. That sounds like they might be bringing that show back. So let's talk about that as well on today's video. All right, so first I wanted to talk about, now my last video we talked about the 24 WWE wrestlers that were unfortunately terminated on Friday, April 24th. But there was another wrestler, a 25th wrestler, that has to be added to that list. So if you're writing all these down, there's another person to write down. This person, they were reported as being terminated as well on Fightful Select, and we found out a few days after when we found out the 24 were released. The 25th one that was released was Carlee Bright, unfortunately. And that was kind of an odd one because, I mean, it almost seemed like maybe she was working her way up in the world in the sense that, okay, she'd been on NXT, she was on WWE Evolve, and recently she's now currently on and she's also on WWE Legends of Future Great. She's on the new Season 3 of that show that just started airing on Sunday, April 26th on the A&E Network. And she's on a commercial on Netflix with Rhea Ripley for I think it's like the 4-star General car insurance or the 5-star General car insurance. However, they're doing that. You know, well, she's also on that insurance commercial. So it kind of looked like maybe she was working her way up in the world, but no, she was one of the ones that they terminated. And that news had come out a few days after the other 24 wrestlers were reported as being released. So maybe perhaps they felt that like maybe she wasn't improving to the level that they were expecting. And she had been in the developmental system for a while. We had first seen Carlee Bright on WWE TV on WWE NXT Level Up on January of 2024. Now, her last match that was aired before she was terminated was on WWE Evolve on February 4th, 2026. So that's how all that worked out with her. So best of luck to her with all her, future career moves and all that. Now, next thing I wanted to talk about was we have another weekly wrestling television show coming to cable TV as of Friday, May 1st. 2026. Now, this show, it's debuting on a cable channel called Comet TV, and this is a channel that's similar to the channel TV Land that has like reruns of old shows on it. And this channel, Comet TV, it specializes in like old like science fiction shows and movies. And basically, what the show is that's going to be on this channel now, starting Friday, May 1st, is the show NWA Powerrr. Now, that's a show, it's been around since October of 2019, but so far, it's only been available on streaming services. Like, at first, they had it on their YouTube channel, and then it was on, like, Fight TV, then it was on the CW app, and most recently, it was on the Roku channel. Unfortunately, though, like they never had a TV deal before, and now, unfortunately, all those old episodes from 2019 through 2026 that they've aired previously, they've all been deleted off the internet. So that sucks, you know? I mean, if you want to go back and watch some of the older stuff, you can't find it, you know? Well, now it's going to start being on Comet TV here, And they don't have like any, like, it doesn't seem like they have any on-demand episodes for their shows on there. Now, you can watch the channel, quote-unquote, live. You can watch the TV show, like, watch the channel live there, like, internationally and all that. But, you know, I mean, they don't actually post like, any episodes of what they air on demand. And anyway, like, NWA Powerrr, they have, like, 2 brand new episodes this week airing on this station. And on Friday, May 1st, 2026, they air their debut episode at 10 p.m., and then they do a second all-new episode on Saturday, May 2nd, 2026, at 4 p.m. Now, they also have a replay of this 4 p.m. episode on Saturday, May 2nd, at 11:30 p.m. Now, there had been some... I had seen a press release claiming that NWA Powerrr, like episodes 1 and 2, were going to be replayed on Comet TV, you know, from 10:30 p.m. till 12:30 a.m. on Saturday, May 2nd. But I don't know. Now, I mean, I've got like, you know, TiVo, and when I look at the on-screen guide there, that does not look to be the case. I mean, it looks like, from what I'm seeing on my TiVo on-screen guide, only episode number 2 will be replayed from 11:30 p.m. till 12:30 a.m. there. And, you know, I figure I'm going to go check these episodes out. I figure I've got my DVR set up to record both of them. I figure, you know, hey, I mean, I'll check it out for sure, you know, I mean, and they say that, like, they're thinking, like, future encore episodes, like, when they're just, like, after this week, you know, they'll be airing the show weekly on 4 p.m. on Saturdays with an encore presentation. They're thinking they're going to air it like at midnight each, midnight on that Sunday. You know, I figure after the 4 p.m. Airing all that. So we'll see how all that works out there. And well, I mean, I figure I like it better now that it's on Comet TV. At least if I DVR the show, I can fast forward through the commercials. Where if I was watching this on like on demand on the Roku channel or on the CW app when it used to be on there, yeah, unfortunately they don't. Those apps, they don't have like commercial free, like, you know, versions of the app that you can subscribe to, so you would have been forced to like watch the commercials and stuff like that. And who knows, they might have been having commercials every like 6-7 minutes, and I think that's what kept me away from watching it and stuff, you know. But now, if I can record this on cable television, I can fast forward through the commercials, that's great, you know. I figure I'll do that. I'll take a look at that. And I know currently looking at their website, because I mean this information is coming to you from the website, the nationalwrestlingalliance.com. And anyway, it looks like NWA Powerrr, that weekly show, that has like, it's got some, former WWE and TNA wrestlers on it, you know, such as like Mike Knox and the Pope D'Angelo Dinero, Trevor Murdoch, Damian Sandow, who's now going by the name Aaron Stevens, and maybe some others. But like, I mean, you know how usually when people leave like TNA and WWE, they change their names to other things. So maybe like, okay, I'm seeing the list of names on their current roster, but like they gave them different names, so I'm not realizing perhaps that like maybe these were people that used to be in WWE because they gave them different names. I'm not recognizing these new names, so it's like maybe there's other ones from formerly of WWE that I just don't know that they're on there and stuff, you know, because I don't know what their new stage name is and stuff, you know. But I'm kind of curious to see what it's all about because I've never seen it before. And anyway, like this company, this new show, NWA Powerrr, it's run by Billy Corgan, the frontman of the rock band, the Smashing Pumpkins. And basically Billy Corgan, like, he wanted to keep NWA Wrestling from going out of business completely, so he ended up with his mass fortune that he's made, you know, in the rock music business. He ended up purchasing NWA, so he's the president of NWA as well as the head of the show NWA Powerrr. So it should be interesting to see like how it looks and all that. I know that like, I mean, it's a show I'll probably be able to relate to a great deal because like it seems to be like they're trying to take like they want to make it like kind of like old school wrestling back in the 1980s, like with like the way it was on like Jim Crockett Promotions when you were watching shows in the 1980s, like NWA World Championship Wrestling that aired on TBS, or the show like, NWA Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling, or say like, local stations, Jim Crockett Promotions, how they had that weekly show airing on like local stations on like Sunday afternoons. It was called like NWA Worldwide Wrestling. It had like Tony Schiavone and David Crockett as the announcers on there. So they're trying to make it like a studio wrestling show based on how it was back in the 1980s. So I figure it should be interesting to take a look at that. I'm looking forward to that. And anyway, another thing is, wanted to also talk about how WWE announced earlier this week that like starting this summer, the NXT Premium Live events, how they were airing on the Peacock Network until the end of March. Then they switched over to airing on the WWE YouTube channel after the deal with Peacock expired. Well, now they're saying when the WWE and the CW Network, rather, they have a new contract out where future NXT Premium Live events starting this summer with the Great American Bash Premium Live event that usually airs in July of each year. They're saying that, well, the Premium Live events for NXT, they'll now be airing on the CW network. So on your local CW affiliate. And so that should be interesting to see how all that turns out. And the deal as of now is that WWE has with the CW network is for 20 WWE NXT Premium Live events to air on the CW network. So we'll see how all that turns out. And however, it's not like, okay, because they're going to do that, it doesn't look like they're going to go and, okay, delete all those old NXT episodes off of the, they made a special YouTube channel, WWE did, with the, they made like a special WWE NXT channel, and they were trying to upload all those old episodes of NXT that were deleted off Peacock. And they started with like the first episode, the first weekly episode of NXT from July of 2012. And they've been slowly, for the last few years, slowly uploading, like all those old episodes of NXT to their WWE NXT channel going from July 2012 up to the present. And they've been now, I think as of right now, just within the last 24 hours, they uploaded WWE NXT from November 30th, 2021. So that's the most recent episode. They're putting them all in chronological order. They've been chronologically uploading all those old NXT Premium Live events to that. But it looks like, okay, well now the ones that were done after the show got moved to the CW network, now all those are going to be put on a separate app and all that. So we'll see how all that works out. And because I think that WWE NXT, it moved to the CW app in September of 2024. So it looks like anything done after that time, maybe on the CW app. And another thing we're finding out along those lines, closely related, on April 29th, 2026, we found out that there's been a new deal with WWE, the CW Network, and ESPN Unlimited, where they're saying, well, with the CW Network, any sports that air on the CW Network are also going to be aired on ESPN Unlimited. And that includes the NXT weekly shows, that includes the NXT Premium Live events, as well as things like college football, basketball, race cars, that kind of thing. That's all going to be anything that's on sports related on the sports events on the CW network. They're also going to be putting them on ESPN Unlimited as well, so you'll be able to see them on there. If your cable company includes that at no extra charge, or if you're paying the $31.79 per month monthly charge on there. Now, I think what's interesting about that, one thing you might want to check out for sure, because one thing that happened to me, now here I am I live in a rural area out in the middle of like nowhere. So I thought, okay, I know I've been reading stories about, okay, WWE, they're trying to work with ESPN to get like as many cable companies as possible to carry the ESPN Unlimited app like on as many cable companies as possible at no extra charge to the consumer, So, and I thought, okay, well, if they're doing that, though, in my area, since I'm just in a rural area out in the middle of nowhere, I'll probably be one of the last cable companies that they're gonna get to carry the ESPN Unlimited app at no extra charge. Because I had been paying the $31.79 a month since September 2025. When they were, when they first started putting the WWE Premium Live events on ESPN Unlimited, and much to my shock, in April 2026, just a few weeks ago, I happened to be on there, and I just figured I'd just check it out for the heck of it. And I found out that my cable company, out of nowhere, they never announced it. You would have thought maybe they would have told you about that in their monthly bill, or they would have had it on their homepage or something like that. I found that out of nowhere, my cable company had just started including the ESPN Unlimited app at no extra charge. So I was like, oh, that's awesome. I don't have to pay that $31.79 a month anymore, So that's great, But they never said anything. It almost makes you wonder if it's kind of a shady business practice. Maybe ESPN Unlimited is telling the cable companies, hey, put it on there, but don't actually say anything. Like, let people hunt for it first, because maybe we might be able to get a lot of people to keep paying that $31.79 per month charge every month because they don't realize their cable company carries ESPN Unlimited at no extra charge, and stuff. So it might be the case that maybe they're doing that. Who knows? With all the shady practices a lot of corporations are employing these days, So I'm glad I caught that, because I found out, it was just a couple weeks ago that they started carrying ESPN Unlimited at no extra charge through my cable company, So if it happened to me in a rural area out in the middle of nowhere, it's definitely worth it for everybody to each month to check their cable company. Because and you have to dig for it on the website. You have to go to your cable company's website. And I think the way I found it was on a drop-down menu. I think you have to go through app add-ons or something like that. It was something like, but it's like they don't tell you on the homepage. They don't send you any information in your monthly bill telling you it's on there. They just put it on there. They make you dig for the information, probably hoping you keep paying the $31.79 a month. So it's definitely worth checking it out every month. To see if your cable company now is one of those that is now carrying an ESPN Unlimited at no extra charge. Now, the last thing I wanted to talk about for today's video is it looks like, it's very well possible that Lucha Underground Wrestling that was around from 2014 through 2018, it may be, they might be trying to bring it back because on their X account that has not been active, they have not posted anything on this account since 2019. They did a post and recently that made it strongly implied that they were in the process of bringing back Lucha Underground Wrestling. So we'll see how that turns out, And this was a pretty good show. It was definitely a show I would recommend if you haven't seen it. Basically, on the video that you see on their X account, the caption is, it just says soon, and the video plays and it has this lucha libre mask for a wrestler, and all of a sudden you see a face that comes to life and all of it, and then it says mas, the Spanish translation for more, the question mark after it, they're implying that the show is coming back. And basically, when the show was on the air from 2014 to 2018, it was on the El Rey network. It was on a Spanish station, and my cable company didn't carry it. But I don't know Spanish anyway. So the way I watched it with the Spanish or with the English translation, with the English commentary, and I was watching it back then on Amazon Prime is where it was back in the day. And they had English commentary provided by former WWE wrestler Matt Striker, as well as former WCW wrestler Vampiro. And I had seen the first 3 years, it was basically seasons 1 through 3, but season 4, I hadn't seen that one because at the time, it's like I don't think season 4 was available through Amazon Prime. That's why I never got around to seeing the 4th episode or the 4th season of Lucha Underground Wrestling. And it was a good show. I thought it was a pretty violent wrestling show. It got a lot of rave reviews from a lot of people. It had a lot of people, wrestlers that, when I was watching it from like 2014 through 2017, a lot of wrestlers that I would later see show up in WWE, TNA Wrestling, All Elite Wrestling, like for example, Penta, Rey Fenix, Santos Escobar, who at the time was a masked wrestler called King Cuerno. Ricochet, that was my first time I seen Ricochet on wrestling. Now back then he was a masked wrestler called Prince Puma. They also had JC Mateo that you know from WWE SmackDown. Now back then he was a masked wrestler called Matanza Cueto. And there was also other wrestlers that you would know from the famous companies of today, like, Karrion Kross, or Brian Cage, Rey Mysterio, John Morrison, Willie Mack, and many others, like, Chelsea Green. And the list just goes on and stuff. And okay, it was a Lucha Libre show, but I would say, honestly, it was way better. It was a lot more violent than with WWE taking over AAA wrestling from Mexico. It was a lot better, a lot more violent than WWE's weekly show that they air on their YouTube channel now, called on Saturdays, called WWE Lucha Libre AAA. It was a lot more violent than that, a lot better, And when I saw it on Amazon Prime, it's like, well, it's still available on Amazon Prime, but now it's like, well, it's not just available through your Amazon Prime, monthly subscription. Now it's like you have to, you can either buy individual episodes or you can buy, entire seasons if you want. Basically, season 1 is still available. That's 39 episodes. And if you want all 39 episodes, that's $45. Season 2, that has less episodes. Now, it's got 26 episodes on season 2. And that's for $40. Season 3 is 40 episodes for $28. Season 4 is 22 episodes for $40. So basically, it's like if you wanted to buy all 120 episodes of Lucha Underground Wrestling, that's the total price would be $153 there. But it is a good show, and a lot of people have raved about it. I thought it was really good. I'm enthusiastic about it. If they're bringing it back, hey, I'll have to go back. I'll have to watch that season 4 that I did not see. I'll have to go through those 22 episodes and stuff and see what that's all about. But hey, if they're going to bring that back, that's definitely something pretty interesting to bring back and all that. So we'll see what all is involved in that. And basically, well, I figure there's more videos I want to put up. Maybe I might even get some more videos put up about wrestling news today if I'm so lucky and all that. But anyway, I just want to say thanks for watching. And, if you really want to help me out on the channel and stuff, please give the video a like and please subscribe to the channel for more of this content. And, or drop a comment, however you want. Those things will definitely help me out. It'll help push, the algorithm to push out my content and everything. So that'll be great. And so I'm going to say, well, I'm going to, have a good one and, see you on the next video. Thanks a lot.